Hey, if you're a teacher like me that's just sick and tired of taking work home every day, you can't keep up with grading all the papers that your students give you, or maybe you're that teacher that's looking for a more effective way to get your students to complete their homework in a timely fashion, or their classwork even as much, then this is for you, because I'm going to reveal to you how you can use a tool called Zipgrade to make your entire grading life easy. Not just tests and quizzes, but your entire grading life. All right, so first of all, what is Zipgrade? Zipgrade is a tool. If you're from back in the day, they used to use Scantrons. It's a bubble sheet. All right, you can get a bubble sheet from zipgrade.com, administer a multiple choice quiz, and you can actually just scan it on your phone. All right, whether you have a Droid device or Apple device, you can actually just scan student Scantrons on your phone, and as a result, you'll be able to just grade quizzes and tests very quickly. All right, but I ran into a problem where I'm having a difficult time keeping up with all the assignments that my students are giving out, as well as students are not working with the urgency that they used to have. Like, the level of urgency changes from class to class, year to year. And the thing is, I can't use the same teaching practices every single year and expect them to work all the time. So I said, I need to grow. I need to do something different. All right. So what I've done now is I've put a Zipgrade bubble sheet on all of my assignments, including notes and worksheets. All right. And so how do I do that? First of all, if you're not familiar with Zipgrade yet, or if you've been using Zipgrade, you can create custom answer sheets now. And so that's what I've done. And with the custom answer sheets, you can actually put in student names and their IDs. So when they bubble in the bubble sheet, they have to use their ID number in order to be able to be recognized by the system, and they can get a grade. Okay, so let me just show you a set of notes that I've been using. All right, so this is a set of notes that I've given out for environmental science. And as you can see, there's some empty spaces for students to take notes, so they have to be writing. And then right here, I actually gave them a multiple choice question. And then I distribute the multiple choice questions throughout the note-taking session. All right, so when I'm done with my lecture, my students have about 4 to 7 questions that they need to answer before they can get credit for participating in class, actively learning, and taking notes. All right, so on the bottom right-hand corner on the back, there's a customized Zipgrade scan or Zipgrade answer sheet, and they have a place for their ID number. But I put 12 questions just in case I wanted to go to 12. But most of the time, I'm going to use about 4 to 7 questions to check for understanding. All right, and that's all you need. You don't need a lot of questions. Okay, just make this very, very easy. All right. So what has this done? This is the number one rule you have to implement if you use this system. You're not going to scan the student's paper until they are done with the assignment. So if they do all the multiple choice, all right, if they do all the multiple choice, but I don't see them taking notes, I refuse to give them a grade for it. That means they have to do the work. There's no shortcuts, all right? So that's the first rule. It might be your only rule because it's been working for me so far, all right? Students now are actively engaged, okay? And when they start doing the multiple choice questions, I started getting here's one thing I didn't expect to see. The students were actually discussing and having academic conversation, strong academic conversation about the multiple choice questions. And it blew my mind because it was actually a day when it was easy for them to be distracted. We were actually having an assembly that day. And so on assembly days, it's difficult to get students to focus sometimes. But man, when I implemented this did not stop them from learning. And I was just so amazed at the amount of engagement I still got for a day where they could have been easily distracted. All right, so back to using the system. So when students are finished with their work, I just have to walk over, spot check a little bit, make sure they filled out all the notes, and then I scan their worksheet with my phone. Very, very simple, all right? And right then and there, I can give them feedback on what they got right, what they got wrong, or if I want to actually do the feedback collectively, I can wait till everyone's done with the assignment or wait till the next day of class and show them the answers to the multiple choice, but only do this after everybody is scanned, all right? So the key thing is do not scan a student's work if if it's blank, there has to be some level of writing on the assignment. If you make it all multiple choice, then all they do is just copy off of each other. And it's a lot harder to do that when there's less learning take place when you have that done with multiple choice than if they're actually copying somebody's notes or copying somebody's work. That's a different thing. I don't really care if the students copy. There's a level of learning that still takes place. Is it the learning that I want? No. But whatever works is what works. All right. So that was environmental science. Now here's one I did for chemistry as well. Today they actually learned how to name covalent compounds. And so on the front side, I gave them the rules, I gave them some examples, I gave them the sample problems that I wanted them, the practice problems that I wanted them to do. But on the back, I turned the last 5 problems into multiple choice questions. And then I gave them 2 questions for checks for understanding. So a total of 7 questions, easily doable. And as a result, the students are talking about the content, they're getting it done in class, and then it forces them to come to me and say, Mr. Phillips, I'm done with my work, check it. Scan it, done. And then, well, what do you do with the paper? You let the students keep it. Let me say that one more time. The students keep the paper. You don't take it home, because when you scan it, it goes to a cloud and you have record that the student completed the assignment, as well as you now have the results on how well they did. Okay? You don't need the whole worksheet to know how well your students are doing. You only need to ask a few essential questions to do that. And that's great teaching strategy right there, knowing what questions to ask on these worksheets. All right. So moving on, now these test scores, or now these quiz scores, but now it's homework and classwork. All right. They get uploaded to the cloud. All I need to do now is go home and put these in the grade book. Or if you have time at the end of the day before you leave, take 5 to 10 minutes and just find out who did the homework, and then put in a grade for it and go home. Enjoy your day. You don't have to lug any papers anymore. Oh my goodness. This is already starting to change my life, because there are other things that I want to do and spend time doing as a teacher other than grading papers all the time. Now, here's a question you might have. How do I grade for accuracy? So I have a separate grading rubric for accuracy. I'm not necessarily going to share that, but you don't need to be too hard on them. If you have 3 questions, give them an A, B, C. If they miss all 3, give them a C. Don't give them an F, all right? When they're doing classwork and homework, you just want to, check them. You want to politely tell them, hey, you're off a little bit, because you don't want that to happen on a test or quiz. So be generous on the homework, be generous on the classwork, but then, really hit them hard on the quizzes and the tests, all right? But how do I grade for accuracy? Well, I don't grade for accuracy all the time. I actually use this dice. I have students roll this dice. This is actually not my idea. I got the idea off of Teachers Pay Teachers. You can even Google this classwork dice or whatever, assignment dice. And I handcrafted this because I like arts and crafts just as much as I like chemistry. All right. So I made this dice, and I ask a student to roll this dice every time we complete an assignment. And for example, if they roll a 4, it's a completion grade. If they roll a 1, it's an accuracy grade. If they roll a 6, I have to choose how it's graded. If they roll a 5, that means everybody gets exclusion. I got confused there. Exclusion, excuse. Everyone gets excluded from having to actually do the assignment, even though it should be done by then. It just goes in as an exemption. And then the last one is student choice. Of course, if there's a teacher choice, there has to be a student choice. So the students get to choose whether or not it's graded for accuracy, completion, or exclusion. All right. And, there's actually 2 sides for completion. So there's a higher likelihood that there's a 50% chance that the assignment will be graded on the spot. All right. And this has increased engagement. I have students that now want to roll the dice. They talk to each other more, they communicate with each other more, and as a result, it's making my life easier. All right. So, I don't grade everything for accuracy, but at least you have an idea of what accuracy is when you give them 4 to 7 multiple choice questions on their classwork and homework. But the key thing is, if you want this to work for you, you have to put this on every single assignment. And that's what I'm transitioning to right now, is just making this a part of my daily routine in the classroom, making this a part of a daily routine for my students. Now my students no longer have to have the responsibility of taking extra work home, all right? I think their brain should be more configured and focused on bigger projects, not just some menial task that I have them do in class. Because, you know, not every kid thinks my homework is the most important thing in the world. So, you know, and we have to break away from that. So give your students enough work to check for understanding, build understanding, and then giving them an opportunity to show you what they know before they leave the classroom. All right? So if you really like this idea, leave a comment below. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. It's okay to tell me what you don't like. I can take it. We're teachers. We're tough. All right? So share this video with somebody and let me know how this is working for you. All right? So this is You'll Be Blessed. Love you. I appreciate you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content. I'm out.